Alright, Avengers Age of Ultron. Woo! Finally out. Okay, actually it's been out for over a goddamn week now, and I actually saw it the night it came out. But, you know, I'm a busy guy. I didn't get a chance to... Okay, fine, I'm full of shit. I haven't done a goddamn thing since this movie came out. Like, I put out that unboxing video, and that's about all I've really done. I've actually just, like, outside of work, I've just kind of been spending my free time hanging out with my girlfriend, playing video games, watching anime. I've just been a fucking schlub. I have no fucking excuse. But yeah, Avengers Age of Ultron, it's out, and I saw it, and I've already said I love the MCU, I talked about Daredevil, and I kind of really want to keep talking about the MCU as they do more things with it and as I'm seeing it. And yeah, I fucking love this movie. It was so good. Big surprise. This one seems to be a bit more divisive than the last one, like, and I knew this was gonna happen. Like, the moment I saw that, like, this movie, I was like, this movie was really goddamn good. I have a feeling people aren't going to like it as much as the first one. And I'm gonna go ahead and say right now, for the record, I like it more than the original. I think this is a much better, well, not necessarily much better film than the first Avengers, but I definitely do think it is a better film than the first Avengers. A lot of things that people are harping on, like, it's just, you know, like how kind of the structure and formula of the whole thing, it's just, these were issues in the first movie, and it's like, people kind of gave that one a pass. And with this one, though, I feel like, you know, they told a more complex story, a much denser story, it had way more character moments, and it was just, for me personally, was just a far more satisfying film because of that. The first Avengers movie, you know, it was fantastic. It was full of, like, these great set pieces, these great quips between the characters, some great interplay that Joss Whedon's really good at, some fantastic action sequences, these great little fan-servicey moments, like Thor's, like, hitting Cap's shield with Mjolnir, and the Unibeam bouncing off of Cap's shield, taking out some Titanis, Thor fighting Hulk. Like, it was full of these great little moments, and, you know, like, it was way more bombastic and fan servicey, and, like, the story was a bit, you know, more simplistic and straightforward, and, like, it's definitely a much easier to digest film, and I definitely had a feeling that, like, you know, and plus, you know, we had already seen the Avengers once, so some of that wow factor is gone when going into the sequel. But yeah, I liked this movie a lot more. Like I said, it was, yeah, it's not as fan servicey as the first one, and I, you know, like, as much as I loved the fan service in the first one, I appreciate that they weren't just, you know, being blatantly pandering to, you know, the audience, and they were just more interested in telling a story, and providing excellent, you know, action set pieces and excellent character moments. And yeah, like, you know, Joss Whedon really just, I think this is, like I said, I think it was definitely a good bit better than the first one. Like, the story, like I said, is much denser, there's more character stuff. With the first Avengers film, like, I don't think you need to see it more than once. You know, like, you know, I've seen the Avengers twice, and seeing it a second time didn't enrich my experience. I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna watch this awesome movie a second time. This one, I feel I really do need to see, like, a second or third time to really just take everything in, because there's just so much, you know, going on in this movie. Like, you know, you have everything with, like, Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver being introduced and their whole backstory. You have Ultron, you have all the other side characters. It is just a more complex film in terms of its narrative. And even though it's still telling a fairly simple story of a big villain army thing tears up city, Avengers have to go stop, or team up and stop it. You know, that's what it all culminates to, it's what it all builds up to. This movie, you know, there's just, like, everything building up to that is just so much more complex. And I really, really appreciated that as a viewer. So yeah, like I said, like, the character moments were fantastic. You know, there was way more of those, and I'll save those for, like, the spoilers at the end of this video. Because I'm going to try and keep the first half of this video completely spoiler-free. Let's see, we got, yeah, Quicksilver, Scarlet Witch, really liked their characters. I really liked how they, you know, because I was wondering like, how you're gonna really introduce them, and they did a really solid job of like, you know, they, you know, because the movie starts off with this big action set piece, which I did not see coming, like where it's just like, oh, like you know, they introduce Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver right from the outset, and then they, in a very natural way, they kind of integrate them with Ultron, and you kind of understand why they hate the characters, like, you know, like the Avengers, specifically Tony Stark, they hate. I won't get into why, you know, I'll let you see that for yourself. Even though the movie's been out for like over a week now, and I'm pretty sure everyone that's really wanted to see it has seen it, but I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't. So yeah, like, yeah, they kind of get into that. I kind of feel there wasn't really like a payoff really to their issues with Stark. I'll get into that a little bit later. The Vision, love the Vision. Really, like, out of all the new characters, because like they do a really good job of presenting these characters, and like, you know, like the characters that didn't have movies, like they don't have, like, you know, Banner gets a lot of screen time in this. Black Widow, Hawkeye get a lot of screen time, a lot of development for those characters. Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, they get, you know, some really nice character moments. You know, they get some fleshing out. Ultron, you know, fantastic villain, but like one character that kind of gets a little shortchanged just because he gets introduced so late into the movie. And it's not a spoiler to say he's in it. He's on the posters and everything, so I'm pretty sure everyone knows. You know, the Vision is in it, and because he gets introduced so late into the game, it's he doesn't get enough screen time to really develop himself that much. But they do take a lot of advantage of the time he has on the screen. So like Vision, fantastic character too. Yeah, like, just like all the characters that they work with and that they introduce in this, you know, the Maximoffs, great. You know, Vision, you know, even though he doesn't get to do a whole lot, like he's a super important element of this film, and you know, he is very much needed, or else this film really wouldn't work, and I'll get into that in the spoilers. But yeah, you know, Ultron, fantastic villain. I honestly wasn't expecting a whole lot from Ultron, because like I've read the Age of Ultron comic, or I read most of it. I got kind of bored with it and just stopped fucking picking up the issues. But like Ultron as a villain was just not interesting. As like, he's just like, oh, he's just this all-powerful robot AI thing. Like, I mean, he's intimidating because of that, but as a character, he wasn't that interesting. And in this, he has so much personality that I didn't expect. I mean, he's kind of that same level that Loki was at, where, you know, he's kind of this, you know, really kind of, you know, human character, which is nice because a lot of the MCU films, they don't really have too many interesting villains. They don't do, you know, I mean, that's been a huge complaint. Like all of Iron Man's villains are kind of forgettable. Though I liked Whiplash, even though Iron Man 2 is the least liked. I liked Whiplash. I loved Red Skull. Loki, I didn't think was actually a good character until Avengers. Yeah, the friggin' elf dude from Thor: The Dark World, I can't even remember his damn name, obviously wasn't that interesting. So yeah, it's been a common complaint. Rowan, the Accuser, there we go, from Guardians, really one-note character. So yeah, I was really happy that Ultron was a far more interesting character. You know, he has a philosophy to him. He has a lot of personality. He's really snarky. He's actually funny. Yeah, I really liked what they did with him. Let's see. Other things I liked. It seems like a minor thing, but Captain America's suit. I really love how they did his suit in this movie. And I really feel like his suit has been... It's really hard to transition Captain America's goddamn suit to live action. It's really hard to make that work. Even though in the comics, you know, like, you know, they've made it more detailed and they've, you know, they kind of make it look a little bit more functional than it did, like, in the old comics. His suit's still pretty fucking silly, and trying to make his suit work because I love Captain America, and I always felt like that was the hardest thing to make work was his suit. I feel the first Avenger, his suit was awesome. I love the suit. The helmet looked kind of dorky. With Avengers, I thought the helmet looked a little bit better, but like the suit overall, I thought was just a huge step down. Like the materials didn't look right. I mean, it had like the right idea, but just the suit just didn't really jive with me. Winter Soldier, they went a completely different route with Winter Soldier with the costume design. They took out the red entirely. It had like the stripes going up the shoulders, which is reminiscent of one of the other suits that Steve Rogers wears in the comics. I don't remember which one, but I don't actually think that was him as Captain America. I think that was just like a suit he was wearing when he worked with Shield. But yeah, like they did that whole look, and that was actually a really nice suit. I really liked his Winter Soldier suit. But it wasn't, you know, a traditional Captain America. It wasn't as Captain America-y as I would have liked, though I did really like that suit. Here, I think they finally nailed it. Like, everything across the board, like, it was just, I love Cap's suit in this. You know, it looks like how I think Captain America's suit should look for the modern age. I liked it, you know, a lot more, like, it's definitely more Captain America-y than the Winter Soldier suit was. And I'm really happy that Civil War is going to be using almost like a suit that's almost identical to the one that's in Age of Ultron. So yeah, like Cap's suit, yeah, might seem like a little minor thing, but I love Captain America so much, and I really want to see him just fully like realized. And like his suit in this is pretty much like the same way I felt about Daredevil's suit in the Daredevil series. It's that like, yeah, they take a lot of liberties with it, but they make it look functional, and it makes sense, and it looks really cool. Like, you know, like you look at that character, and you go, oh, you know, that's Daredevil. And you look at, you know, in this, it's like, oh, that's Captain America. But, like, the suits look functional. They look like they work, and they fit within that universe, but they still look real kind of on that silly comic booky end of the spectrum as well. And I think they really nailed it with this outfit for Cap in this one. And of course, you know, there's all the, you know, like the little teases and things that they did with setting up future movies. I thought it was pretty well done. Like they're obviously laying some groundwork for Civil War. Really excited about Civil War. Let's see, Thor Ragnarok. I don't really care for the Thor movies. I mean, I don't think they're bad movies. I just think they were mediocre. Like, they function well. I don't think it's any fault of Thor as a character. I just don't think that they're really writing fantastic movies around him. They're not giving him really good villains to work with. And which is a shame, because Avengers proved that Loki can be a fantastic villain. And they just kind of didn't do much with him in Thor. And, you know, so like they teased Ragnarok a bit in this one. They also teased Black Panther. You know, they actually go to Wakanda. They talk about vibranium. They set up the Claw. At least I'm assuming they're setting up the Claw. I mean, he was in it, and they did some stuff to him that sets him up for being the Claw. I'm honestly really not that familiar with Black Panther. I've seen him show up, like with a lot of characters, I've seen him show up in other people's comics. Specifically, I've seen him show up in X-Men. And I've seen him show up in cartoons. But, like, yeah, I am familiar enough with him. And so, yeah, like, I mean, I think it's cool that they've set up his villain. You know, hopefully Andy Serkis comes back and, you know, will reprise his role, and, you know, we'll get, like, a good payoff for that, for, like, what happens to him in Age of Ultron for the Black Panther movie. And I'm really looking forward to seeing Black Panther in Civil War, because, like, I could definitely see how the events of this film could lead into him coming to America and, like, confronting Captain America and getting involved in that. Like, so yeah, like, I like how they kind of set up that whole element. There was probably some other teases that I missed. Obviously, you know, there's the Infinity War, you know, thing that they're setting up, that they've been setting up since these movies started. And yeah, that pretty much sums up, like, all the spoiler-free stuff I have to say. Like I said, I really liked this movie. I thought it was better than the first. I understand, like, why people aren't liking it as much as the original. I think they just... Like, I think a lot of people just need to kind of go back and rewatch the first Avengers movie and then watch this one. I kind of wish this movie were longer, because I really feel like, you know... Because apparently this movie was longer and they had to cut it down by quite a bit. I really want to see a director's cut, because I think, like, an extra 30 minutes would work to this movie's benefit. You know, like, not a whole lot of movies I could say that about, but I'm like, yeah, I want this movie to be 3 hours. I totally would love this movie to be 3 hours long, or even above 3 hours. I'd be okay with, you know, I think it would actually benefit this film, because like I said, this movie was so dense. But yeah, the movie was fantastic, and that's all my spoiler-free thoughts on it. So yeah, spoilers in 3, 2, 1, Quicksilver died. Holy shit. Did not see that coming, because, like, they really fuck with you, too, because, like, this movie is so Hawkeye-centric, like I said, and they do so much development with Hawkeye, and you keep thinking, like, okay, like, they're going to, you know, like, they're obviously kind of, like, setting up Hawkeye to die, because, like, they show, like, I was actually kind of upset at the beginning. I was like, oh, they fucking, like, injured Hawkeye right at the beginning. I was just like, oh, great, way to make him feel useful. But, like, he becomes this really human element of the team, and I loved, like, everything they did with him. You know, like, how he has this whole secret family, and, you know, they're, like, he has this family, you know, he has, you know, these kids, he has this whole secret life that no one knows about. You know, he really kind of questions his own place on the team, you know, because he is the guy with the bow and arrow. What the fuck is he really even doing here? And, you know, he has that whole scene of, like, you think, you know, I'm not, you know, they don't need me. And it's, you know, his wife is just like, no, like, I'm scared, you know, because, you know, I feel that they do need you. And, you know, he really does bring a lot to this film, and he is just one of the best parts of this movie. I think he's my personal favorite part of this movie, because I love well-written characters. I've said this a million times before, and I'll say it again. Like, I love fleshed-out human characters, and Hawkeye was this human element that this film really needed. And you could tell that they were, like, they're hinting at, like, you know, that they're gonna fucking just take him out in this movie. Like any other movie, you know, you feel like, you know, that they're building up sympathy points for this character, and they're going to kill him off. So when that scene happens, in Avengers 2, you know, and you're like, oh shit, he's about to get offed, and then Quicksilver runs in, I'm like, okay, Quicksilver's gonna grab them and take them off. Instead, like, no, like, you know, like, the scene ends, and, you know, you see Hawkeye still standing there. It's like, wait, did Quicksilver not grab... Oh shit. Like, you know, they killed Quicksilver instead, and that was a fantastic fake-out. I honestly, like, I'm kind of disappointed that Quicksilver's dead, because, you know, I feel like because, you know, it's... You know, it's Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, man, like, they're a team, so it's... Like, I really feel like, that, like, you know, those two should have been more together. So I was kind of surprised that they offed him. You know, because I really thought, like, they were going to do stuff like, you know, in Civil War, and they were going to be together in Infinity War. Honestly, I wouldn't rule out that he's dead. Or he's permanent. He's obviously dead, but I don't rule out that he's dead for good, because, I mean, they've kind of already set up things in this universe as outs for them. I mean, Coulson was dead. He's back in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Regardless of what, you know, Joss Whedon wants to say is canon or not, you know, like, yeah, the man directed 2 fantastic fucking movies. Yeah, he's definitely not, but yeah, he's not the end-all, be-all of this, of this franchise, you know. Marvel gets this final say, Disney gets the final say on what's canon. They're obviously setting all these things up. So yeah, shit, I lost my train of thought. Yeah. So yeah, like I said, Coulson, yeah, he's been killed and brought back, so we know that people can come back from the dead. Also, you know, they introduced that technology that they used on Hawkeye to patch him up. So, you know, I really feel that, that they could definitely do, you know, they could definitely do stuff with Quicksilver to bring him back. I don't see him being dead for very long. I'm pretty sure he's going to come back in another movie. I'd be more surprised if he stayed dead. Honestly, if they kept him dead, I'd be surprised. Plus, you know, though they changed Scarlet Witch's power set in this, she's more like the Phoenix than she is Scarlet Witch. You know, like if they just start going full blown Scarlet Witch, she could just fucking warp reality and bring him back from the dead. And honestly, I was kind of expecting that when she went all fucking just full blown like, you know, Scarlet Witch at the end. So yeah, another thing I really liked in terms of characters, Black Widow and Hulk, like Romanoff and Banner. I love that ship. Like that ship reminds me a lot of oh shit, I'm blanking now. Wonder Woman and Batman from Justice League Unlimited. Like it's one of those ships that like it had never crossed my mind until I had seen it. But when I did see it, I fucking loved it instantly. Like once more of like once they explained the reasoning behind it, like why this actually would work. Like, you know, those two kind of are compatible. And I also really like, you know, in that same situation with Justice League Unlimited, you know, the female is the aggressor. Wonder Woman was the aggressor on Batman, and in this, Romanoff is the aggressor on Banner. And I really like that because that really makes a lot of sense for her character. You know, she, you know, and like I love her reasoning for that. It's just, you know, she's surrounded by all these guys who are all ready to throw down and fight, but here you have this guy who, you know, he avoids fighting because he'll know he'll win. Like, you know, and he has, you know, he's constantly holding himself back, and you know, he has all this discipline to him, and I just really liked how they portrayed his character, how they portrayed these characters, and like how that whole thing worked together. So yeah, like that ship, I fucking loved. Let it set sail. Obviously, you know, Hulk got fucking fucked off at the end of this movie, so I don't know what they're gonna really like. I mean, I don't know how they're gonna build on that, if they're going to build on it at all. Because I mean, Hulk probably won't return until Infinity War. Which is a real fucking shame, man, because, like, I fucking love The Incredible Hulk. And, like, I love the Edward Norton film. The Edward Norton film is one of my favorites of the MCU films. Probably, like, I want to say it's probably my top 5. You know, even though there's only, like, 10 of them. I know, it's like, but, yeah, I really, really liked, really liked, The Incredible Hulk. And I really want them to do another one. And now that they've set this up, like, I want a Black Widow Hulk movie so bad now. Like, you know, so many people are like, oh man, we need a Black Widow movie, we need a Black Widow movie. And I'm like, you know, I don't really know if, like, Black Widow could just hold an entire film by herself. Like, I mean, I feel like there need to be other elements, but, like, after, like, seeing this, I'm like, I want a Black Widow Hulk film. So bad. Like I want to see them, like, I mean, like, I kind of feel bad for Betty Banner, there we go. Like, I kind of feel bad for her, or Betty Ross, yeah, because that's what she is in this continuity. I feel kind of bad for her, considering, like, you know, there isn't, like, you know, like, she's kind of getting ditched and left behind. But I love that pairing so much that I really want to see more come of that. But yeah, like, they totally made that work. I like the new Avengers lineup that they do, like, at the end, where you have that great little payoff where it's just like, you know, Captain America's training like all the new Avengers, and you've got, you know, Scarlet Witch and Falcon and War Machine, and God, I love like when War Machine comes in like at the end of the movie, and it's like, because War Machine really needed to be like in the first Avengers film. He needed to show up in some capacity. I'm really glad he showed up in this one. Let's see. Also, it kind of sucks that, like, you know, the familiarity with comics, you know, having a familiarity with comics and the things that they're going to be setting up, and knowing, like, certain, like, contracts that are in play with these films, you kind of already know certain things are going to happen. Like, you know, Chris Evans is almost at the end of his contract run. So, you know, like, you kind of know Captain America is going to be around much longer, you know. And, like, he's already said that he has no interest in coming back, like, for this, because, you know, he wants to do other stuff. And, yeah, I can understand that. So, I mean, you know, certain things are going to happen, and like, you know, you kind of know certain characters are going to start getting killed off. And like, I was actually explaining this to my girlfriend. I was just like, man, it really sucks that I know at least 2 characters in Infinity War are going to fucking eat it in that movie. And, you know, one of them is going to be Captain America because Chris Evans' contract is almost up. And Bucky, Sebastian Shaw, I think that's his, no, that's shit. Oh, fuck. I forgot. Is that? No. Fuck. The guy who plays Winter Soldier. Like, he's probably gonna end up being the new Captain America. Like, they're probably setting that up. So, like, after Infinity War, you know, Cap's probably gonna die, you know, we're gonna lose Steve Rogers, and we're gonna get Bucky as the new Cap. But then also in this movie, you know, they very clearly, you know, have Vision with the Mind Stone, the Mind Gem, and it's like, oh, fuck. Because, you know, Thanos is gonna take that shit, like, because he needs that. Like, we can't have the Infinity War without the full-fledged Infinity Gauntlet. So, yeah, like, at some point, Thanos is going to show up and rip that shit out of the Vision's head. So Vision isn't gonna make it very far into Infinity War. Like, he'll probably make it through most of Infinity War Part 1, and then fucking eat it at the end, or at, like, near the end of that film, and then Thanos is gonna be full fucking powered. And of course, you know, there was the Thanos tease. You know, because he grabs the gauntlet. I'm fine, I'll do this shit myself. You know, there's that. I mean, it was obligatory. We knew we were going to get it. But yeah, that pretty much sums up all of the spoilers, I suppose. Like I said, I really like a lot of what they did with Hawkeye, you know, and Romanoff. Oh, God, one of like, the best subtle moments, because, you know, Joss Whedon is really good with characters, is, you know, when they show his son being, his son as a baby, and his name is Nathaniel Pietro Barton, and it's like, oh, like, you know, that was really nice. That was like, that's a nice little touch, because, you know, Pietro, you know, Quicksilver, gave his life, and, you know, he named his son after the man that gave his life for him. You know, that allowed him to even see his son being born, and that was this nice little respect moment, and I loved that. Like, it's like I said, this movie is so goddamn good, and it's so goddamn good in little ways, and I feel that's one of the reasons it doesn't get, because, like, Avengers, the first Avengers was great in big, overarching, bombastic ways. This is fantastic, and these several little bits, and it also has the big moments too, but it also has these little things that just tie everything together so well and make me just love that movie so much more. But yeah, like, this movie, I loved the shit out of it, like I said. I will say, though, it's not my favorite MCU film. I probably should have said that before the fucking spoilers. Because now the non-spoiler people don't get to hear me say this, but yeah. Like, this isn't my favorite MCU film. That's actually The Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier is my favorite. Then the first Avenger. Then Guardians of the Galaxy. And when I say first Avenger, I mean Captain America, the first Avenger, obviously. And then, because I really love the Captain America films. Then Guardians of the Galaxy. Then Age of Ultron. Then Avengers. Shit, I just realized that puts it in my top 5. So yeah, I guess Incredible Hulk is in my top 6. So yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much like where I'd rank those. So yeah, it's not my favorite MCU film. In fact, it's not even my favorite MCU installment I've seen this year, because I like Daredevil more. Because Daredevil was fucking fantastic, and like, it just had more room to breathe and do what it needed to do. Like I said, I kind of wish the movie were 3 hours long, or maybe even longer than that. So yeah, I definitely, you know, like, so I actually put it even below Daredevil. Like, who knows, like, maybe even, you son of a bitch, whatever. You know, and then, I mean, there's Ant-Man later this year, and I have really high hopes for Ant-Man. I don't see Ant-Man, topping, this, though, because this movie was just so goddamn good. I think Ant-Man's gonna be good, and I'll do a video on Ant-Man when it comes out. I will say, though, I really wish they had integrated Ant-Man into this film in some capacity, because in the comics, it's Hank Pym that creates Ultron. I really kind of wish that they had kind of introduced the older Hank Pym that's going to be in Ant-Man and set up his character in advance for Ant-Man. That would have been really nice. But I mean, I'll take what I can get. I really just like this movie. That's pretty much it. I think I've rambled on for far too long now, and I guess I will do another one of these when Ant-Man comes out, because that's the only other MCU film. You know, unless, like, the Fantastic Four movie ends up being fucking amazing, and I actually have, like, really good things to say about it, which I doubt I'm going to. Probably gonna see it, but I doubt I'm gonna be really impressed by it. Yeah, like, unless that movie ends up being super fucking awesome, I have great things to say about it. This will probably be, like, the last comic book movie I talk about for the rest of this year. And, yeah, oh yeah, and then there's Jessica Jones at the end. Never mind, whatever, fuck it. I talked too long. Avengers Age of Ultron, fucking loved it. Not my favorite movie of the MCU, but, you know, I really, like I said, I think I was kind of biased towards Captain America, maybe. But yeah, fantastic movie. Go fucking see it if you haven't. If you haven't seen it, you really shouldn't have watched this far into the video anyhow. But yeah, it's great. Go see it. I loved it. Peace out.